Hello everyone and welcome back to Roll Cougs Weekly. I'm Kendall Janosko.
And I'm Aiden Voorhees.
And here's everything you might have missed last week in Chatham Athletics, and stick around to the end of the episode for a special interview with men's lacrosse coach Kevin McDonough. Gino Pecora was chosen as the UCHC Rookie of the Week for the third time this season. He collected his first career shutout on Friday versus SUNY Brockport and had a .928 save percentage this weekend. Clara Mueller was chosen as the women's ice hockey UCHC Rookie of the Week. She collected 2 goals and 1 assist this past weekend. For women's indoor track and field, Arielle Bruner was chosen for the PAC Field Athlete of the Week for the second time this season. She came in first in the long and triple jump, top of the pack, and D3. For the week of January 20th through the 26th, Tyler Samadral was chosen for the UCHC Rookie of the Week, collecting 1 goal and 1 assist in his 2-point game in Friday's win over SUNY Geneseo, number 3 in the country. For women's swim, Hannah Urinek was chosen as the PAC Women's Swimmer and Diver of the Week for the third time this season, coming in first in the 200 butterfly, undefeated on the season in that competition, 100 freestyle, and 100 butterfly, her second best. Elena Kircher was also chosen as the PAC Newcomer of the Week for the first time this season. She came in first in the 500 freestyle and the 1000 freestyle for a lifetime best.
Dion Pinkett was named Men's Basketball PAC Player of the Week for the third time this season last week. Pinkett finished the week with 24.5 points, 9.5 rebounds, 3.5 steals, and averaging 2.5 assists on the week. He also had a double-double on Saturday versus Westminster with a career-high 28 points and 11 rebounds before being recognized by the PAC. Hannah Chenault was the PAC Women's Basketball Player of the Week. She averaged 15.7 points, 3 rebounds, 1.7 steals, and 1.3 assists in 3 games last week.
On Friday, January 24th, the men's swim team took on Juniata, dropping the match 152 to 122. Cal Hockman came in first in the 100 backstroke, 200 backstroke, and 200 medley relay. Brady Gardner came first in the 1000 freestyle, 400 individual medley, and 200 medley relay. Max Rollins came in first in the 50 freestyle, 100 freestyle, and 200 medley relay. Caleb Trainum also came in first in the 100 butterfly, 200 butterfly, and 200 medley relay. The men's swim pack record at the end of the week is 1-4 with an overall record of 1-7. Also on Friday, January 24th, the women's swim team took on Franciscan and Juniata, beating Franciscan 139 to 137 and losing to Juniata 152 to 122. Hannah Urinek was first in the 100 butterfly, 200 butterfly, and 100 freestyle. Elena Kircher was first in the 500 and 1000 freestyle. And Allie Cohen was first in the 1-meter diving. The women's swim pack record at the end of the week is 2-4 with an overall record of 4-5.
On Wednesday, January 22nd, women's basketball eked out a 5-point win against Washington and Jefferson. Chenault finished that one with 20 points and a block. Charjay Brock had 7 rebounds, 6 steals, and a block, and Madison Neroux finished that one with 7 rebounds and 1 block for the win over the undefeated Presidents. On Saturday, January 25th, women's basketball fell to Allegheny at the AFC 75-65. Charjay Brock had 19 points in that one with 2 assists, and Madison Neroux came up with 19 points and 9 rebounds in the effort for the Cougars. Women's basketball dropped to 10-3 in the pack and 15-3 overall. They are now 3rd place in the conference standings.
Women's ice hockey played their first game against Nazareth on January 24th and lost 7-0. And then on Saturday played their second game against Nazareth, losing 5-1, with the Chatham goal in that game coming from Clara Mueller for her 3rd of the season unassisted. The women's ice hockey UCHC record at the end of the week is 0-6-0 with an overall record of 2-13-1, 4th in the UCHC.
Men's basketball defeated Washington and Jefferson 92-90 on Wednesday. Simon Boyer had 26 points to lead the Cougars. Hunter Verling had 8 rebounds, and Dion Pinkett had 7 assists, 4 steals, and a block. Chatham got a last-second winner on a goaltend on the shot by Hunter Verling. On Saturday, January 25th, Chatham beat Allegheny 68-63 in men's basketball. Simon Boyer scored 20 points and took the all-time Chatham lead for points scored in men's basketball with 1,282. Hunter Verling had 7 rebounds in that one. Men's basketball now improves to 12-1 overall in the pack, which is first place in the conference, and they are 15-3 overall on the season.
On Friday, January 24th, the men's ice hockey team beat SUNY Geneseo, number 3 in Division III, in an overtime win 7-6. The Chatham goals came from Milan Cermak, his second of the season, assisted by Evan Mitchell. Tyler Samadral for the 6th of the season, assisted by Nick Cyprian. Michael Roby for the 4th of the season, assisted by Kyle Contessa and Beck McLean. Nick Cyprian for the 5th of his season, assisted by Tyler Samadral. True Crow for the 1st of the season, assisted by Carson Grainer and Dylan Young. Beck McLean for the 3rd of the season, assisted by Tyler Samadral and Nick Cyprian. And Nick Cyprian for the 2nd of the game and 6th of the season unassisted. That game would also end up being the biggest upset in Chatham men's ice hockey team history. Then on Saturday, January 25th, the men's ice hockey team played their second game against SUNY Geneseo, losing that one 7-3. The Chatham goals came from Carson Grainer for the 1st of the season, assisted by Oscar Saarinen and Michael Roby. Nick Cyprian for the 7th of the season, assisted by Zach Connor. And Jacob Arizo for the 1st of his career, assisted by Oscar Saarinen and Michael Roby. The men's ice hockey UCHC record at the end of the week is 4-7-1, with an overall record of 5-11-1, 4th in the UCHC.
Men's volleyball had 3 matches last weekend. In the first one, they fell 3-0 to Penn State Altoona, with Benjamin Shelestak finishing the match with 7 kills and Joseph Roncallo getting 4 blocks and 6 digs. RJ Nag finished that one with 18 assists. The men's volleyball team won their first game on Saturday, pulling out a 3-2 victory over Penn State Bear End. They trailed 2-0 but came back to win the match 3-2 in the 5th set. Sid McCabe had 23 kills, a career high in that one. Jordan Haas had 2 aces and 5 blocks. RJ Nag dished out 47 assists, and Luke Houlihan had 17 digs for the Cougars. In the third match of the weekend, Chatham fell to Hilbert 3-2 in 5 sets. Logan Pack had 15 kills to pace the Cougars. Jordan Haas had 3 aces and 5 blocks, and RJ Nag got another productive game with 40 assists and 10 digs. Men's volleyball is 1-4 on the season.
Men's and women's indoor track and field traveled to New Concord, Ohio on Saturday, January 25th for Muskie Meet number 2. The men's team finished 15 out of 15 and the women's finished 9 out of 16, with Ariel Bruner coming in first for the long and high jump.
Jared Nalia took on the men's squash CSA Individual Championships in New York, New York last weekend. He fell in his quarterfinal match 3-1, but he did make the consolation finals. Clara Braga also took on the CSA Individual Championships in New York. She fell 3-0 in her quarterfinal match and then also made the consolation semifinals. Women's basketball will take on Waynesburg on Wednesday, January 29th, with a 5 p.m. start time at Waynesburg. Chatham won 71-54 in their only matchup of the season on December 4th of last year. Waynesburg is 8th in the pack, 5 spots behind Chatham. Men's basketball will play on the other half of that doubleheader at Waynesburg. They won 64-60 at home on December 4th over the Yellow Jackets, and Waynesburg is 5-8 in the pack in men's basketball. They are in 7th place, 6 spots behind the first place Cougars. Women's hoops will take on Grove City on Saturday in another away game at 1 o'clock. Chatham beat Grove City 91-43 on December 7th at home. Grove City is 9-4 in the pack. They are 5th place one spot behind the Cougars. Men's basketball will try to get their revenge on Grove City. Grove City, the only team to defeat Chatham this season in PAC play. They are 10-3 in the PAC, getting a 72-62 win over Chatham on December 7th.
Coming up on Friday, January 31st, the men's and women's swim teams will be at the Western PA Invitational at 4 p.m. in Pittsburgh, PA.
Men's volleyball will also be in action on Saturday, February 1st. They will travel to Mount Aloysius. Last season, Chatham fell to Mount Aloysius 3-0 on March 21st. Mount Aloysius is also 1-4 on the season in men's volleyball.
Then on Friday, January 31st, the women's ice hockey team will play their first game against SUNY Canton at 3 p.m. And on Saturday, February 1st, their second game against SUNY Canton at 1 p.m. The head-to-head history between the two teams is 6-2-1, and their last match on January 10th, 2015 ended in a 6-3 Chatham win. SUNY Canton's conference record right now is 4-7-1 with an overall record of 5-11-1. Men's ice hockey will also play on January 31st, taking on Nazareth in their first game at 7 p.m., and then on Saturday, February 1st, their second game against Nazareth at 3 p.m. The head-to-head history between the two teams is 5-11-1, and their last match on November 16th of 2024 ended in a 3-1 Chatham loss. Nazareth's UCHC record is 2-8-2 with an overall record of 6-9-2, fifth in the UCHC, one spot behind Chatham.
Both men's and women's squash teams will play Denison at home at 10 a.m. on Saturday. Head-to-head, the men's squash team is 5-1 all-time against Denison, who is 3-5 this season. The women's squash team is 2-1 all-time versus Denison, with a 9-0 Chatham victory taking place last season. Denison is 4-4 this year in women's squash.
Then on Saturday, February 1st, the men's and women's swim teams will be at Day 2 of the Western PA Invitational in Pittsburgh, PA. The women's will get started at 12 p.m. and the men's will get started at 4 p.m. On Saturday, February 1st, the men's and women's indoor track and field teams will be at the YSU Mid-Major Invitational in Youngstown, Ohio.
Men's lacrosse is back this week with 2 scrimmages on Saturday. The first one will be against Mount Union at 11 a.m. The second one will be against Tiffin at 1:30 p.m. at UPMC Graham Field. I'm here with Chatham men's lacrosse coach Kevin McDonough. How's it going, Coach?
It's going well, man. Thanks for having me.
You've got a couple scrimmages coming up this weekend. What are you looking for in those scrimmages from your team?
Yeah, I'm just looking for our guys to compete right now. We've been practicing. This will be our 10th practice tonight. So, I don't know if we're necessarily ready for outside competition, but the best thing to do to find out about yourself is play someone different. So we want to see our guys compete. Want to see how our process is working, through about 13, 14 practices, and then get back to the drawing board on Monday. But we're excited to, play somebody else.
It's your 5th year at Chatham. How have the first 4 years been able to propel you to this point, and what are you looking for out of your team for the season?
Yeah, I think the last couple years especially, we really haven't graduated very much year to year. So a lot of our seniors and juniors, they've been playing for most of their careers. We had a couple good freshmen last year who are now sophomores who are ready, I think, to take the next step. So, last year there were some good moments, some not so good moments, especially towards the end of the year. So we're really looking for our older guys now to show some maturity, show some leadership, and hopefully play our best lacrosse, once we get into PAC play, which has eluded us the last couple of years. So that's what we're fighting for this year.
You've coached at Ohio Wesleyan and Frostburg State with a defensive mindset at those schools. How has that defensive mindset translated to your coaching career here at Chatham?
Yeah, I think here, a phrase I've told our defensive guys is, no matter what, we play good defense at Chatham, right? We want to play a pretty physical brand of lacrosse. We want to, kind of set the tempo on defense. So I think our defense is definitely our identity, and that kind of comes into how we play on as an offense as well. We try to ride really hard and try to play a little bit of a faster style. So I think that's kind of all built. My experience at Frostburg and OWU, and I've taken pieces from that and tried to apply it here.
You've really emphasized charity work for your team.
Mm-hmm.
How has that had a positive impact on you and your team?
Yeah, and I think anytime you can get our guys out into the community or out into different situations that probably take them out of their comfort zone a little bit, they're going to grow as people. So we just that's part of our program. We want to grow these guys as athletes, as students, and as people. So I think it's been great. We just did work on Sunday with the Special Olympics at Bolero up in Dormont, and I think that was really fun for our guys. We worked with them in the fall as well. So I think it just helps our guys just evolve as people from when they got here. And I think for myself, just giving back to the community as a program is important to me here.
What's it like coaching guys that get PAC all-conference academically?
Yeah, that part's great. I think a big part of our program is, our best players are also our most reliable students. They're maybe not like 4.0 guys, but they're guys that we don't have to worry about day to day. So I think that's a big part of our guys' maturation process in our program is coming in as freshmen. I think everyone when they're a freshman, they think they know it all. And, all of a sudden, like, school's harder, lacrosse is harder, and they realize they have to, if they're going to be good at lacrosse, they got to, knock out their academics. So I think it's been, pretty consistent the last couple of years. Our best players are always like kind of on that, close to that PAC honor roll or on the PAC honor roll. We've had 2 of the last 4 PAC scholar athletes for the men's side has been lacrosse players with Tyler Hayes and Logan Blankenship. So I think it's something our guys shoot for, is they want to be really good lacrosse players, but also really good students as well.
Now that you've lived in Pittsburgh for a few years, what's your favorite part of the city, and what's something you think is unique about Pittsburgh?
That's a great question. I would say probably my favorite part of the city is the Strip District. I had to say, like, if me and my wife go out anywhere, we try to go down to the Strip District and we can walk around, and they have that new terminal there, which is really cool. So that's definitely our favorite spot to go to when we do get a chance. And I think just unique about it is just like how, new of a city it kind of has become with all like the tech and medical kind of influence in Pittsburgh. It's not like the old like Steel City that probably most people think about. So there's a lot of new stuff here, and I feel like it's just continuing to evolve and get nicer as a city. And then just having the 5 other colleges, pretty much right down Fifth Avenue, I think is super unique in Division III. There's not a whole lot of Division III schools that are in a city next to an ACC school. I think we did it as a coaching staff. We're one of like 13 Division III lacrosse programs that are in a city with 300,000 people or more. So I think in recruiting, that's definitely unique. You're not going to run into too many programs that are similar to you.
Yeah, you've worked with high school lacrosse players with True Lacrosse in Pittsburgh. Are you seeing an improvement in the lacrosse culture here? What do you think it's thriving?
It's definitely getting better. I mean, there's really good athletes here. It's still a football city, so I think you're going to lose some kids to football, who could be really good lacrosse players. But it's definitely improving. I think there's a lot of really good lacrosse players that actually like leave the Pittsburgh club scene and go east to Maryland or Philadelphia or Northern Virginia to play their club ball, which, I get it. Like they're trying to, better themselves and play tougher competition. But, the true Pittsburgh teams that I've coached, and they're, I think we've really competed very well nationally. So it's definitely getting better. The Shadyside Academy, I think they have 3 or 4 Division I commits this year, which is quite a bit, I think, for this area. So it's definitely continuing to get better, and hopefully we'll keep improving year to year.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, thank you.
You can catch Chatham Lacrosse at UPMC Graham Field this season.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. I'm Kendall Janosko.
I'm Aiden Voorhees.
And we'll see you next week.